Pontefract Castle was besieged 3 times during the English Civil War and then slighted, but still has significant remains, as well as links to liquorice with the famous Pontefract Cake. It was also where one of Henry VIII's wives, Catherine Howard, was alleged to have had an affair that cost her head and her lovers. And also previously to that, King Richard II had died here in 1400. This is one interesting castle. In this video, I will try and highlight some interesting features and provide some history, as well as visiting tips. Please stay to the end for all the detail. I hope you enjoy. Please like and subscribe. Thank you for watching Eclectic Experience. Change seen through images. Pontefract Castle is located here, in Pontefract, about 12 miles from Wakefield or 18 miles from Leeds. To provide some context, using a timeline of monarchs, the original castle, which would have been wooden, was constructed around 1070 at the time of William the Conqueror, and then it was replaced with stone. King Richard II was deposed in 1399 and then at a later stage imprisoned in Pontefract Castle, where he died a year later in 1400. Catherine Howard allegedly started her affair with Sir Thomas Culpeper here at Pontefract Castle, which led to Henry VIII having them both executed without trial. Then there were the 3 English Civil War sieges of the castle, which happened during the reign of Charles I and finished under Oliver Cromwell during the Republic. The townspeople suffered terribly during these 3 sieges and petitioned for the castle to actually be dismantled so that it could not happen again. And that is why so much of the castle is gone. It was either sold or taken away over time. However, despite this, there is actually quite a lot to see, especially the dungeon, which is under here. This castle has multiple claims to fame, but the most salacious has to relate to Catherine Howard, the 5th wife of Henry VIII. She was only 16 when she married Henry VIII, who by then was 49. And the following year, during their trip through the north, they stayed at Pontefract Castle, and there was also a friend of Henry VIII's, Sir Thomas Culpeper, and that's where the affair allegedly began. A love letter from Catherine to Thomas was later intercepted, and then they were both summarily executed the following year in 1542. Moving on to the English Civil War, one of the times the castle fell, it wasn't a Trojan horse, but it wasn't far off. In 1648, the castle was held by parliamentary forces when a group of royalists conned their way into the castle by bringing up beds for the garrison. They then took the castle and held it until the Civil War was effectively over, with Charles I beheaded. Looking at the castle today, it is possible to get a really good view of the local area, so you can see why it was built here. This is the view from the top of the keep today. Although it's a lot smaller, the view is still pretty good. Walking around the outside, you get a far better idea of some scale, and there are some high walls remaining with some intriguing gateways. It is not known exactly how the castle might have looked before the Civil War. However, this is a 17th century interpretation, and I really use the word interpretation here, of how it might have looked. Now, Pontefract is probably most famous for the Pontefract Cake, which has a base ingredient of liquorice, and liquorice was actually grown at the castle for over 100 years. And in addition, the emblem of the castle was actually stamped onto every cake as a sign of quality. Some visiting tips. The castle is administered by Wakefield Council, and here's the good bit, it's free to enter, though there are some small charges for some services, including the dungeon tours. It is close to the centre of Pontefract, with everything there is there, but on site there are also toilets, cafe and gift shop. If travelling by car, there is a car park right next to the castle. This is an absolutely fascinating place to visit, especially for the history that has gone on here, and also for the remains and the dungeon. well worth a visit. I hope you've enjoyed this video. I'll be making more similar ones, so please like and subscribe. Thank you for watching Eclectic Experience, change seen through images.